The table. Wigan Saints is usually good enough. It doesn't get much better than this. Here are the teams then, and Wigan have key men missing but have others returning. Matty Bowen and Josh Charnley are both out there, with Blake Green a long-term absentee and on his way home to Australia at the end of this season. This could be the first of many Wigan Saints derbies for young Sam Powell. Up front, Ben Flower makes his 60th Wigan appearance. Lone Liam Farrell, but John Bateman returns, having missed the last three. And no one in the Wigan side knows more about the unique atmosphere of this occasion than the skipper, Sean O'Loughlin. And on the bench, experience in the shape of Taylor, Crosby and James, but what a game to make your Super League bow. 19-year-old Jamie Doran gets a chance from coach Sean Wayne. When talking about Derby Day experience, no one has more currently playing than the evergreen Paul Wellens. It's his 57th meeting with Wigan, and he's in great form. 5 tries in Saints' last 4 matches. Adam Swift returns on the wing for his first appearance since May the 11th. James Roby makes the 299th St Helens appearance at hooker, flanked by Walmsley and Richards. John Wilkins there again. Last week's win against Castleford marked his 300th appearance in the Red V. And it's a heavyweight bench. Willie Manu continuing his comeback. It's his 3rd substitute appearance since coming back from 8 out in Perpignan a fortnight ago. So Saints, the Red V is still there, but they're basically in blue tonight against the Wigan Warriors, and they will be keen to erase the memory of the Good Friday defeat that they suffered to Wigan on a glorious sunny afternoon. And well, Wigan were just too good for them on the night, and they were led magnificently by their skipper Sean O'Loughlin. Young, inexperienced. There have been words used about this Wigan side all season, but there's a little bit of experience on show there tonight. And this should be an occasion that everyone will enjoy. 2 great warriors at the front of the lines. Sean O'Loughlin on the left, Paul Wellens on the right. Steve-O, it has all the makings of a corker, this.
Yeah, it's very rare that these 2 sides let us down. And as I've mentioned in the build-up to it, there's got to be a lot of enthusiasm from both sides. The attitude has got to be right as well. They don't need any motivation. This is one of the biggest derbies that you'll find in any sport, never mind just rugby league. And yes, Eddie, I'm like you. I cannot wait. This should be a
tremendous welcome for the 2 sides from a packed stadium. And a stadium that, of course, is celebrating the Armed Forces celebrations. There are some special guests here tonight. The Soldiers' Charity, the Army's national charity is here. They look after serving soldiers, former soldiers and their families, and they look after them for life. The ABA Soldiers' Charity. The Corps of Drums are here. There are also teams from the all 4 of the Armed Forces teams who will be competing tomorrow for the Tom Sefton Memorial Trophy event, which is going to be held at the Crossfield Amateur Club in Warrington. And as part of today's Armed Forces celebrations, the Wigan Club are now going to have a minute's silence to remember all of the men and women who have lost their lives serving our country, especially those from the local area, including Sergeant Stephen Derbyshire from 40 Commando, whose children were tonight's mascots. And the minute's silence will start and end on the referee's whistle. silence impeccably observed, as it always is at rugby league occasions. And Phil Bentham is the man in the middle here tonight. Well, the silence is over, and let the mayhem begin.
I mentioned in the build-up, Eddie, in regards to the fact that looking back at the St. Helens games this season, if they start with so many errors and they don't get into the game quickly, they seem to lose confidence, lose the coordination, and they cannot afford to do that against a side that is led by this man, Sean O'Loughlin. It's a big night for everyone.
The match ball tonight as part of today's Armed Forces celebrations. Three very special guests present the match ball. Corporal Andy Reid of the Duke of York Regiment, Lance Corporal Richie Nicholson and Corporal Luke Reeson from the Duke of Lancaster's Regiment. They have all suffered serious injuries during their time serving the country. Brings a lump to your throat and a tear to your eye. Right, so it's going to be Saints who will get this game underway. And what a match is in prospect here. Luke Walsh starts us then. 80 minutes. Can Saints stay top of the table? Will Wigan leapfrog them? The prize could not be greater. And what a race from the kickoff by Sia Soliola.
Tremendous effort there by the loose forward, Soliola. Well, we said that Saints wanted to start in a pretty good fashion, and I tell you what, their defence, boy, they're getting out of the blocks very, very fast, and they've got big hits on the opposition.
Well, remember, they started very brightly on Good Friday. In the end, they were blown away, and here comes Matty Bowen with the first little half break of this meeting. Matty Smith now with the kick downfield, going for a 40-20. The ever-dependable Paul Wellens is underneath it. His 57th tussle with the Wigan Warriors. This, Kieran Cunningham with 60 holds the all-time record. You wouldn't bet against Paul Wellens overtaking that mark.
Well, the old stages came to the fore, didn't he? But James Roby, wonderful low tackle. And then they kicked early. Matty Smith went early in the tackling out, went on the fourth, but who was there in a wonderful position but this fella, Paul Wellens.
They're on halfway here with Luke Walsh. He gets the ball away. This is Mark Flanagan. And the tackle completed, and it's to play the ball with one player. O'Loughlin was on the deck, and that's a nice little short pass from Walsh to find Soliola, but the Wigan defence stood its ground. Roby again. Walsh off the outside of the boot. It goes up high. Bowen claims it for Wigan.
Not surprisingly, Saints, they're putting a lot of pressure on Matty Bowen. Remember, he had a problem, I think it was a hamstring, and he's come back rather surprisingly very early into the piece, but he took that well.
So Wigan in possession then, and here is Josh Charnley now. Charnley, who turned 23 yesterday, was out for 11, came back for the last two, 5 tries on his return, remember, against the Widnes Vikings. They'd be glad to see him back, last year's Super League top try scorer. Dan Sarginson, great try on Good Friday from Sarginson. The messing about on the deck by Greg Richards. Referee doesn't blow the whistle though. Whoa, and a big collision after the kick went from Sam Powell. Soliola and Powell both felt that.
And I think Soliola's come off second best. It was put under a lot of pressure, and Powell would have felt it. Nothing wrong with it.
Soliola is still trying to get back to help out his colleagues here.
Yeah, he put his body on the line.
He was committed.
There. Yeah. And perhaps just winded. But the chase from Wigan was outstanding.
Well, he certainly felt it, Soliola. This is Walmsley who plays the ball.
You know, there were questions when St Helens lost to Wigan back on Good Friday, whether they could match the Warriors for their level of aggression. I think they've shown us here in the first 3 minutes. They're determined in terms of aggressiveness. They will not lose this contest. Really strong carries and some really good tackles.
Here's Wilkin in centre field. Just drifts the kick to the right-hand side of Bowen. He traps it with the foot and then will run it back. Only as far as Wilkin, and the Wigan fans saw something then that wasn't spotted by the referee. Was it a high shot by Wilkin?
Well, he certainly went into the chest.
No, nothing wrong with it.
It's so tense, isn't it? You know, the home side no against their arch rivals. The fans trying to lift their own side. But this is pretty solid defence from St Helens as well. They're moving up as a good unit. No one's coming out of the line. They're all together.
We're getting 4 minutes into this battle now. It's been interesting right from the off that St Helens have had that aggressive mindset. You don't often talk about the toss in rugby league, but it was clear that St Helens have won the toss and elected to kick and defend hard, and they've owned the field since the field position until this kick now from Wigan. But there's a lot of energy's gone into this St Helens opening, and there's some really tired blokes, and Alex Walmsley looks a bit injured in the background, so they need to weather this storm. They've created the storm, they need to keep powering through with it now.
Was there a hint of a knock-on then by Tommy Makinson?
Well, he certainly lost it, but I think he just grabbed it on the second attempt before it hit terra firma. But it was right underneath the sticks. Yeah, just got it before it hit the ground. Boy, he was lucky there.
Jordan Turner will drive the ball forward for the Saints, while Wigan were losing at Wakefield. St Helens beat Castle 38-16 at Langtree Park last weekend. It was needed. They'd lost 42-0 to Catalan in the south of France the previous week. Walsh again. He was the engineer-in-chief of their 9-game winning run at the start of the season. It was brought to a grinding halt by Wigan at Langtree Park on Good Friday. This is a great run from Bowen. This is a magnificent run from Bowen.
Tremendous work, and that came about, and that's a penalty. No doubt about it, Richards all over it. But that was funny. You know, the kick, it was well and it was deep, but Matty Bowen had plenty of time to correct himself, get into top gear, because the St Helens chase was very poor.
So Wigan then, from that penalty, have a chance, and this is Sean O'Loughlin now. That's Powell. He gets it wide to Smith. And here is Anthony Galley. And the Cook Islander is enjoying his rugby league this season. There's no doubt about that. Bowen to Matty Smith. The charge from Jack Hughes, met by a good tackle low down by Mark Flanagan. Roby was in there for good measure as well. Solid run, and he gets to the line. It was Ben Flower. Flower will play the ball to Williams. Williams then to Smith. Short ball then. And here comes Bateman.
Another good tackle by Soliolo. It had to be right round the legs.
This is the last one. Down to the in-goal area. They're all after this, and Wellens to the rescue.
Again, experience from Wellens. Anticipated the kick through. Wasn't a bad one, was it? But look how the old stager, he won't mind me calling him that. He's been around a while. But that was excellent stuff. Good pressure, though, by Wigan. They're camping down. They're controlling the game at the moment. Over the last 5 minutes, they've just slipped into top gear.
Well, they began the game, didn't they, by throwing all of the punches, St Helens. Now they've got to show the ability to absorb some here, as Wigan will no doubt put that familiar play on where they pass the ball behind one attacker to another and look to sweep wide and create the space out wide. They've been so successful with it. They've used it successfully against St Helens already this season. And you can bet in the next 6 players we're going to see that option.
The kick out of the drop goal, the drop out from under the posts, should I say, was not too lengty. So we're going to have it back here. And here is O'Loughlin. They'll have to keep a close eye on him, the Saints, because he was so dominant in that match on Good Friday. Powell gets it away to Smith. Smith then finds Bowen. Bowen looks full of it, doesn't he, tonight?
Certainly does, but they've got to start going for the legs. They go far too high. He's too stocky and close to the ground to stop him. They've got to get the legs. Ooh, what's that? That looked a bit high from John Wilkin.
Bowen will go for the line himself.
Short.
Well, you said short, and immediately Phil Bentham said exactly the same word as well. But this is another great chance for Wigan on the last. Can they get a second? or a repeat set, should I say, as the kick goes into the corner.
Brilliant. Nothing short of brilliant.
Well, it's gone upstairs for clarification by the video referee, but Joe Burgess believes he's got his 11th try of the season, Stuart.
Well, he does, and interestingly, Phil Bentham only has to see whether he was onside, so he must be happy with the grounding. I think it's fairly clear from that he's well behind the ball, so it'll all depend on the grounding. Thought Phil Bentham was quite confident from his position, so we'll see what happens from the video referee's point of view. He gets possession, and he grounds that ball well. That's a try.
Yes, it should be. Certainly no offside.
And that shows you, Eddie, the advantage of controlling the game, to be deep into your opposition quarter, to get that opportunity. They just run out of numbers, did Saints. It was a magnificent kick through.
19-year-old Joe Burgess in the England get-together squad the other week. And a try against Saints on Good Friday. It's a home and away double for Burgess. Will it be a home and away double for Wigan?
Yeah, it was good work from the half-back as well. Powell put it through. They knew exactly what it was all about. I'm afraid St. Helens didn't. They all went through. Nobody just spread away. Look at that Turner. He was left in no man's land, and I'm afraid he knew exactly where it was going, and his name is Burgess that gets the first 4 of the game.
Well, it's a difficult conversion attempt coming up for Matty Smith. He played for Saints in the 2010 Grand Final against Wigan. Began at Saints in 2006, only 20 appearances in 4 years. 59 goals from 85 shots this year. 59 goals from 86 shots this year. But Wigan have the lead, crucially 4-0.
The reason the Wigan were down in this position was because of this man, Matty Bowen. He's opened the game. It's been very intense. The 2 line breaks have come from him. He's gone close. He plays that ball right on the line, holds his composure. It's another old stager there, Sean O'Loughlin, passing the ball to Sam Powell, and then the youth feeds off the experience of these guys. It's been an intense start, but Matty Bowen can take a real bow. He's put Wigan in great field position, and he's in full control out there.
Sean Lee has the ball and then tips it inside to Ben Flower, who has a drive at this Wigan defence. The defending line was led by Roby. Well, the plan for St Helens is that Walmsley and Richards would take the early sting out of the Wigan attack, and then they'll bring on the likes of Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook and Mossy Massoy. But here is a penalty because there were hands in the ruck.
You know, this is
in
one
fact,
thing.
The ball was pulled out, says the referee.
Yeah, and I don't think it was Lance O'Hire that was the culprit. He looked a little bit confused, and he's every right to be that way. But that has been another problem at times for Saints, is that they lose composure. They just give away silly penalties.
Release James.
So here they are now. They're beginning this set of 6 inside the St Helens half of the field. Are the reigning champions. Here is Bowen, and he slips it nicely wide to Sargentson, who almost got inside Walsh.
The one thing I like about Bowen is that most fullbacks like to get outside of the centre position, but not Matty Bowen. You'll see him roaming around, maybe just 2-3 metres away from the ruck.
One thing he does, Steve, if you watch him, he's got to get the ball off him now. Didn't get it. He was out the back there with Matty Smith. He touches him all the time. He gets in behind his halfback, asks him what he's doing, then reiterates it to the rest of the team. He's a wonderful team player, the way he finds those balls through the middle.
Matty Smith gets the ball away. It was a decent pass. Good job that Walsh and Turner was there. Jack Hughes was sniffing a try. Here is Bowen again. Oh, and he gets the ball away before the tackle's effected. This is Sargentson. They're still on the last. Williams will have to hoist the kick up. He does that. Ooh, and he waited and waited and waited, did Adam Swift.
I think Bowen's down.
Yes, he is.
And there's no full back in position. Saints should take advantage of this. I don't think any Wigan player realises that they're without a full back.
I think they want to hang on to the ball for a minute, Mike. They've been really under pressure for the last few moments. They want to hold possession. Wigan have had a good period, haven't they, with the ball? Penalties have helped them. The goal line dropout helped to set up that try. If anything, St Helens want to hold the ball for as long as they can now.
Well, the message has got out. Sean Wayne has just sent back Joe Burgess. Obviously, he's feeling the effect of that tackle, Matty Bowen. They pushed him out onto the left wing. That's smart work from the coach, Sean Wayne.
It's the last tackle coming up here for St Helens. Walsh had to stretch for that, and he drills the ball all along the sideline, finds touch about 5 metres away from the Wigan goal line.
Yeah, it was a bit forward. He got it on dipping down, but that's intelligent play. He knows they're being put under the cosh. Sean Wayne, he was a little bit disappointed that they didn't react, the players. Remember, Bowen down at the field, they're down to 12 men. Neither of the wingers realised that it was open space. It surprised me that St Helens did not take advantage, kick early in the tackle count, and use the wingers to try to get them down the other end of the field.
Well, Wigan have lost 3 of their last 5 matches. Golding, Thornley, Green, McIlroy and Farrell are all absent. But Wayne still believes, Sean Wayne, that is the coach, that they have the talent needed to get the job done. And they have the talent here to make sure that they get a penalty at the scrum.
That was a huge error from St Helens. I was sitting there at that scrum thinking this has to be a massive defensive set to get them back into this game. And they gave away a cheap penalty, cheap yards. Now it becomes a vital set for Wigan. They can really force some dominance here inside of this game.
Yes, intelligence by the Wigan pack there. They held the ball in and forced St Helens really into an offside situation.
Sometimes forwards do have brains, Eddie.
Back up, come on, see ya. Goal 2.
Here's O'Loughlin. Gets the ball away. Short pass then to Jack Hughes from Sam Powell.
Boy, they're looking confident, Wigan, aren't they?
Well, that try has done them the world of good. They started off solidly defensively. Now they're asking a few questions.
They're getting over the advantage as well, and that spells danger for St Helens.
Williams to O'Loughlin. And what happened there? The ball was touched by a St Helens hand, so it's a 0 tackle. This one, the tackle count resumes.
Looking to get away with it, Sean O'Loughlin. It wasn't the best offload, but he was lucky that it got a fingertip. There you see it. The Saints player.
Williams again to Powell.
Oh, that's a big error. That's a knock-on. It sometimes happens. They've been utilised in the short dummy, and he didn't think that he was going to get it, but it caught the arm, and that's sufficient.
Did it not go backwards?
Well, I think that's certainly what the Wigan players are claiming, that it goes backwards. It certainly always seems to be travelling in a backwards direction, and he comes back and places himself onside, so perhaps that should have been play on.
It's a massive let-off for St Helens, because you just felt the next try was coming with Wigan. They had so much of the ball, great field position. You'd expect them to be coming up with that second try, and well, they're not going to get many more chances here. St Helens need to work their way back into the game very quickly. Let's look at the difference there. 2/3 to 1/3. That's a massive change here, and St Helens have to hope now to even that up a bit.
They're trying to do it here with Mark Flanagan. Halted by Dodson. Now, big Mossy is out there. Mossy Massoy.
Well, you can see
to bring him down.
Yeah, he attracts 4, sometimes 5. But the most important factor is that Massoy, if he can get up and play the ball quickly, they've got an opportunity. They've got the overlap here.
That's a great ball from Wilkin. That went backwards. I think that went forwards, actually, off the fingertips of O'Hire, but the referee saw it differently.
Yeah, I thought Lance O'Hire nearly gave himself up. Not good appealing to the official now.
Wilkin gets the pass away to Percival. Oh, no, maybe not.
Yep. Official's got it right.
Walsh shaped to kick. Has to kick under pressure, though. The nothing kick. Whoa! Burgess somehow hangs on.
Desperation. Burgess, even though he lost control of it, he had the wherewithal to just keep his eyes on it and lunge at the final moment. High on the ball, it's mine. And he got it.
O'Loughlin, the Wigan skipper, taking the ball forward, looking for his next try for Wigan, which would be his 80th for the Cherry and Whites. Here is Hughes. Walsh halts him with a solid tackle. Tell you what, he tackles above his weight, doesn't he, Luke Walsh? Powell, Flower, Matty Smith. Here's Bowen again. Bowen floats it wide. Charnley's halted by good defence. Percival and Swift, and then O'Hire in for good measure. Smith, up it goes, high.
Not much going forward, though.
Sean O'Loughlin releases the ball, bounces off the foot. He dabs it through, does George Williams. It's brilliantly picked up by Adam Swift.
Yeah, good play by Swift. They got the run of the green there, Wigan. He's got the kick away and it bounced up very, very neatly in front of them. Surprised me that St Helens, when that kick went up, St Helens, never one of them went for the ball. They were just happy to let it get away. They nearly got caught there.
St Helens are going through a whole heap of experiences in this game. They've changed their side with having Walmsley start, Massoud's come on. The start of the game in big games is the tough bit. Everyone's fit, everyone's fast, everyone's going hard. You expect so much. They are really struggling. Wigan, as young as they are, experienced in big games, and they're dealing with it. They're handling it. They've absorbed the start and they're dominating it. Saints are learning a lot tonight. They're not enjoying it, but they're learning a lot, and it's tough out there.
Well, their supporters don't want another lesson, Tony, I'll tell you that. They want 2 points tonight. And there's a problem here for Luke Walsh. Looks like he's got a back injury. He's just pointed to the kidney area.
Had a bit of a collision on the hip. Yeah, there's certainly 2 different styles out there tonight. Oh, maybe he just stretched the back as he went through with the follow-through for the kick. Oh, that's a knock-on. He'll stop the play because he realises that Luke Walsh is badly injured. Not really a time to offload when you're virtually controlling the game. Wigan are wanting to play out, way out away from the play the ball area. St Helens seem to be directing it right down the middle. We know they've got a good hard set of forwards, but they need a little bit more concern and getting down wide.
They haven't been hard on the Wigan. Wigan have been a really tough team out there. A real reflection of how they play. And I mentioned pre-game that I thought this man Roby would be the dominant force, but George Williams has been the one controlling the ruck at the moment, getting the little spaces and looking like he's got the zip. It's a real credit to the Wigan pack at the moment.
This is Flanagan, though, now. Just a little bit tight to the touchline. Mark Flanagan, he'll play the ball to Turner. Now it's Roby. Here is Walsh running that injury off. Dumps the ball to the in-goal area. And Bowen will take it over the dead ball line. It's a goal line dropout coming up here.
Yeah, it was a lovely tasty kick, wasn't it? And he knew it, but good position by Matty Bowen. He's having a fine game. Looks like Luke Walsh has got over that problem with the back. It was a neat little kick.
Well, Wigan scored from their goal line jumper, didn't they? It was the very last play with another great kick. The quality, I think, of the attacking kicks here is the reason why these 2 teams are at the top half of the Super League table. Such a difference, isn't it, at the end of the set? If that ball rolls over the back, there's no pressure on. But now it's St Helens' turn here now, with 6 players to really test what Wigan can do with the defence. Can they make the right decisions? They're brave enough, they're strong enough, but it's the questions that they'll be asked. Do they have the answers?
Don Crosby was lifted off his feet there by the run of Massoy. Here's Soliola running straight at Crosby again.
Well, we saw that from Massoy in the World Cup, didn't we, last year? And they've been waiting a long time with the Saints fans to see that. Great defence. Wonderful stuff.
Yeah, super defence on the run from Jordan Turner. It's Luke Walsh in centre field to Soliola. Roby onto O'Hire. And here is Percival, cuts inside. Anthony Gelling. Good job that Matty Smith was there. Roby scheming 3 metres out. Back it comes to O'Hire. Short ball then to Wilkin. He finds Walsh. Walsh with a cut-out ball. And this is Mark Flanagan. That's a pass out the back door. And Makinson goes in. What a pass that was. Was it legal? Yes, it was. What a pass from Flanagan. And another try for Tommy Makinson. The only St Helens player you're looking at there to have started every game this year. And he's had tries here now in each of the last 4 years. 3 years ahead of this and here tonight. And that's leveled the scores with Makinson. Goes top of the Super League try charts with this.
And this is probably the first attacking link that they've created. And what about that final pass? Flanagan outstanding. But this is where they've stretched the Wigan defence for the very first time. And this is outstanding. Oh, top quality.
Yeah, that's outstanding. Great. Phil Clark mentioned the kicking game, put him in great field position, and they're going to go to that right side. They're going to go to Makinson's side. They went there earlier in the set with a wide pass to Walsh, he put some plays out and they took it away and they came back and got them again. They will keep coming at that right-hand side of the St Helens and be attacking the left-hand side of Wigan.
Well, Makinson's going to try and improve his own try here, which obviously is an indication that Luke Walsh is still feeling the pinch from that strain on his side. Makinson missed with that. Not saying that Walsh would have kicked it either, but it's 4-all.
Big Mussy Masoa started it off at Crosby. Fair play to Crosby, bounced up and got up and made the next tackle, so he did set the set up nicely there. A bit of a shoulder charge look, but this is where they'll be going now. They're looking at wide passes, isolating those defenders out there. Great footwork from Flanagan, awesome skill. He knows Makinson will be in place. He's scoring these every week and doing a wonderful job out there on that right wing.
Yes, England Knights international Tom Makinson, 22 years of age, and now is the Super League top try scorer. Began the match level with Morgan Escaré of the Catalan Dragons. He will be in action, of course, at Leeds on Sunday. Down to Rod.
Well, Luke Walsh has succumbed to that injury, Eddie. There was no question that he was still feeling it. He wasn't moving with any freedom at all out there. They were the subject of frantic conversations between the St Helens coaching staff on the sideline. They hoped he could run it off. He hasn't been able to do so. They've hooked him off to give him some more treatment. Whether he'll come back or not remains to be seen. I'll go and check on that.
Thanks, Rod. This is the injury. See the follow-through. No contact with Dom Crosby. Just goes down, feels the right side of his lower back. So he's in the dressing room and they're trying to sort him out. And they need him because he is the engineer and the heartbeat of this St Helens team.
Yeah, it's a big loss. He's the architect, as you say, but looks as though it's a severe pulled muscle on the right side of the back.
Now then, they've got a great chance here. Wigan, Gelling trying to go around the outside. Wilkin gets to him. There's good defence also from Percival. This now is Smith. He pops it up here to Scott Taylor, who's on off the bench. The England international, formerly with Hull KR. Matty Smith. Back he comes again. And here is a great chance. Sargent and Burgess. Good tackle. Good tackling that by O'Hire. And they rushed to give him the congratulations. And Wellens was the last line of defence. But I think the job was almost done by O'Hire there.
Yeah, it was good work.
And then Wellens takes him over the line.
Good combination there, because you could see that Jordan Turner had gone inside and Lance O'Hire was covering across. Great combination, this.
You know, defending near your own try line is more tiring than any other part of the field, and especially when there has to be that level of desperation to prevent a try. St Helens, that was self-inflicted. They coughed up possession inside their own 20 metres on. They can't do that again here. They spent too much of the opening quarter of that part of the field. There was a pass there by Matthew Smith. Was it a late hit, or was he committed to the tackle?
Phil Bentham has just been having a word with him. He said it's a borderline late hit. He's already had a word with a couple of Saints players during the game, so I think they're a bit concerned about those shots on the just after they pass the ball.
Taylor and Mossy Masoy coming together like two double-decker buses. Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook's out there now.
And again, we see this desperate defence from Wigan. This is the major reason why St Helens are really not having the opportunity to get the link. And of course, they've lost Luke Walsh. That means the responsibility goes on the shoulders of Lance O'Hire to try to get that link working. Obviously, they'll probably get John Wilkin into that standoff position. They've got to do something. And of course, Wilkin, no stranger to playing at the halfback.
No, he isn't. It was his kick that Bowen has just brought back to be met by the challenge of Percival. And Percival, well, he went for Gelling and missed him. In the end, he was brought down by Mark Flanagan. Here's Charnley.
This has been played at a great pace as well. They're going to be showing their fitness levels, I tell you what, late in this game. Who would have thought it's been really, really wet all day? Not raining now, but the surface would have absorbed quite a lot of water.
Yes, it would, but to all intents and purposes, this is a Premier League football pitch as well. The drainage will be first class. There's no problems at all as far as that's concerned. The ball will be a little greasy. And this is a tester because of that. What a take, but Matty Smith was all over Helens the moment he received that.
Great stuff, wasn't it? Good take, good tackle, good composure from Matty Smith.
You know, we've seen a pretty good 25, 26 minutes, and the teams have more or less matched one another head-to-head with the breaks and the meters made so far. But Wigan's defence has been visibly better, and obviously, again, with the stats, if St Helens continue to miss the tackles more than twice as many as Wigan, they are really going to struggle. You'd expect the Warriors to be just ahead right now with the action we've seen.
As it is, it's all square at 4 apiece. McCarthy Scarsbrook for the Saints.
As I mentioned, Lanto Hire, he's out there controlling things. He's a good talker.
Wilkin helps it on to Flanagan. They go wide to find Percival. Pace down the left for St Helens, but I think they misread the count there. That's the turnover.
Yeah, lack of understanding. To be tackled just about the halfway line. Oh, that looked a bit high.
It was a grab by Percival, wasn't it? And Charnley didn't like that from Smith either.
It's getting a bit tasty. Got to keep a good eye on it. This is the official Phil Bentham.
And Bateman gets to his feet. He's no respecter of reputation, as Jamie Peacock will testify to.
We've got a late hit here by Masoi. I think following on from what Phil Bentham said earlier, he's coming for that, and that is late.
Well, you can see the arm is cocked back, and he would have felt that as well. What's it, Masoi? Just go on report.
No, the touch judge on the far side said that was just a late hit. It's a penalty. Two of them having a go at the referee. We're seeing more and more of this. It's a sorry picture, I'm afraid.
Well, the son of the go back to and turn the clock back a little bit. It was late, no doubt about it. If it had just followed through without swinging the arm, he probably would have got away with it.
I think, Steve, if he doesn't do the one before, he might have got away with it. I think the one-on-one made two. I think the referee sent a warning to him, two on the back.
And there was also one by Walmsley earlier on that Phil Bentham had mentioned. So it's probably the third time. So, you know, from my point of view, I think it's a fair call.
4-0 the penalty count to Wigan, and Paul Wellens was saying, and he is the skipper, not John Wilkin, he is the skipper, Paul Wellens. He was saying all we want is consistency, all we want is a fair crack at the whip. Smith, short ball, Bateman. Now then, 3 tackles gone, Wigan 5 metres away from the St Helens line. That was Williams, he gave it to Smith. A little dab to the in-goal area. They're going to get another repeat set here because Makinson slides the ball over.
And again, this is the one thing I've admired about Wigan today. Their composure, the way that they know that repeat sets just irritate the opposition, takes a lot of energy out of this St Helens side. The short kicking game into the in-goal area is such a wonderful advantage.
And Paul Wellens had another chirrup at referee Phil Bentham.
I'm trying to get that point about what was it, turning the clock back, Eddie, is the fact that, you know, it should be one person on either side only allowed to talk to the referee. Yeah, I know, but
John Wilkin was only stood behind him.
Oh, what was his lips doing? Whistling?
He was having a go.
But you can't talk.
He was having a right old go.
Wigan will come forward again. Taylor met by McCarthy Scarsbrook.
Good game, this, isn't it? It is really physical.
Isn't it just? McCarthy Scarsbrook, the Cockney boy, of course, who just loves these matches, loves the white-hot atmosphere of them. This is his 14th derby. The ball's gone to ground. Play on, play on, play on. And there was a flailing leg there by Sean O'Loughlin. It's a penalty to St Helens. First one for Saints.
Yeah, well, both coaches need to get out that message. That really wasn't on.
It's this one here.
Not when you're in a good position like that.
There's not much on at the moment, Steve. That's why they're looking for these things. You think about the Saints try, was a real flick out the back from Flanagan. The Wigan try was a kick to the corner and a desperate chase. There's been no opportunities. It's been awesome defence, awesome intensity.
Yeah, but
top quality game.
But I made the point in regards that the Wigan were controlling it with those little kicks into the in-goal area.
I agree with you. He doesn't do that offload. You know, they get the next play and they're away. You don't go looking for those things. You've got to earn them. And I take your point and I agree with it.
What an effort that was from Manu. McCarthy Scarsbrook takes it towards Powell and O'Loughlin. They're on halfway with 2 tackles gone, the Saints. Roby. Here's Manu again.
Well, I tell you what, it took a while to warm up, but it's red hot out there.
We spoke before the game about the interchange bench and the effects of Masoa, McCarthy, Scarsbrook and Manu, and we're seeing at the moment, aren't we? We're seeing they're really lifting Saints and putting them in great position. They're really free-flowing at the moment.
Flanagan gets them to within 30 metres. Here is Wilkin. He just drifts the kick over the top, looking for Adam Swift, who's quick. Bowen's quick, and he runs the ball out, touching goal. Goal line dropout now coming up for Wigan, so more pressure coming in from St Helens.
Now then, when Bowen came across, it was good positioning, wasn't it? It was a great...
All we want is all we want is consistency. Exactly the same.
There you go. He wasn't whistling, he was talking.
Speaking well, actually. It was really well put over from the captain. He's entitled to put a little bit of pressure on the referee. That's his role.
Oh, that's a great kick.
It is Paul Wellens stretched the arm, couldn't get to it, went backwards. So here comes once again Alex Walmsley. We've got news on Luke Walsh. Rod.
Walsh will play no further part in the game. That's straight from the horse's mouth. Eddie is in a lot of pain with his back. He's sat down on the St Helens bench, but in a whole lot of discomfort. And he said, no, I'm finished for the night. There's no way I can come back on. I'm in such pain. So that's the biggest possible blow St Helens could have. They've lost their string puller, Luke Walsh.
Yes, they have. It's a hammer blow. Wilkin to Wellens. Wellens then to Percival. Bateman comes across and helps out Anthony Gelling. Wellens in at dummy half. Here's Wilkin again. Wilkin then gives it to O'Hire. O'Hire took on Taylor, took on Williams. Referee is seeing something offside, he says.
I'll take the 2.
Well, again, Scott Taylor was called offside from the side, and the referee actually spoke to Scott Taylor to tell him to stay out, but he couldn't resist going in on the tackle.
Well, Walmsley will drive it in. They're not going to go for 2, even though they're bang in front of the sticks.
That surprises me.
Roby goes the other way, gives it to Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook, and the defence stands firm. Taylor not offside on that occasion. Roby, inside it comes. A spin, a twist and a turn, but there's no way through there.
That was Luke Thompson.
Thompson.
Yeah. Oh, great tackle. That's play under.
Knock on, no, it was a knock on. It came off went forward.
Oh, Matty Smith gets a congratulations. That really was one heck of a tackle.
You know what, those 4 plays, Tony, is that evidence of the fact that Luke Walsh wasn't on the field? They had 4 runs down the middle of the field, try and barge your way over one then. At that level, I'm not quite sure you can do that. Obviously, we're going to prove with the defence they couldn't.
It's a massive point. There's another, the way they went, it's interesting how the team split themselves left and right, and each time there they were leaning left. They scored the try on the right, which is Walsh's side. Both O'Hire and Wilkin want to play over on the left. The Saints are now struggling with the fact that their strength should be on the right. They're all going to be leaning left.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem, because as we know, John Wilkin for years has been running on that left angle, so he feels more comfortable with it, mainly due to the fact he passes better right to left than the other way.
Stuart, the referee's just said to St Helens, you're borderline. What's he talking about?
I think it's about the way they're talking to him. You know, a lot of players are coming to him and talking about things. I think he's just trying to tell them to back off a bit.
So they're trying to put pressure on the man in the middle. And in a night like this, of course, they all probably will try and do exactly the same given the opportunity, but Saints better watch their P's and Q's.
That's a big error. Big error.
So Saints get the head and feed here.
Yeah, with just over 6.5 minutes to go.
Error from Gelling.
Yep. And it's brought about because once again you see a man going to the would-be tackler with the ball carrying arm. Sometimes the basics, they let themselves down.
Well, they went 11 games without a win at this stadium. between 2001 and 2005, but St Helens have now won 8 of the last 12 here in the league, the Challenge Cup and playoffs. So they're no strangers to victory on this ground.
Yeah, of late, there's no fear, is it? And quite frankly, you know, I've been surprised that, you know, they've lost Luke Walsh, but I think Lance O'Hire is doing a fine job, especially with the combination now with Wilkin.
Here's Walmsley. Drags them a few further metres towards the Wigan posts. Roby's waiting. No knock on. O'Hire, short ball to Turner.
You get the feeling that if anybody's going to get through, it's going to be coming from a kick.
And there was the kick, and who he was after, it was Manu.
That's close.
It's very close, it's so close, it's going upstairs. Well, Manu are making some chasing, Stuart.
Yeah, I think it's probably more about the restart than whether a try was scored, and I think Phil Bentham was in a pretty good position to see that the ball wasn't actually grounded, but you know, who does he come off last and what the restart is, because that can be very, very crucial, especially in a game like this. So it looks like he comes off Joe Burgess last and goes dead last. I think this will be a goal line dropout.
Yeah, it looks pretty clear that the right hand from Burgess has got there. And I'll tell you something, it has saved a tie. That was TRY time.
Tony, you talked about the quality of the defence here in this game. The accuracy of the attacking kicks is at a level that we've not seen every week in Super League. That puts them under so much pressure. But Joe Burgess has saved 4 points.
And the decision is no try, goal line dropout. The ball was made dead by Wigan player.
So it is a goal line dropout. Do you want to answer the question, Tony? If you can remember it, I can't.
No, I agree 100%. I think Phil makes
a question. I said we've talked about how well they're defending. I think the feature for me is that how accurate those attacking kicks are. I mean, this is another goal line dropout. The last one they stuffed up and didn't do particularly well. Got 6 players here to get some points.
I think it's, yeah, critical. Well, listen to what you're saying there, Phil. We take those things for granted, the subtle skills and the brilliant chase and these inches that are there. And Steve-O's right, you know, there's probably are points going to come from kicks, and no shame in that. Big games, you've got to get your points somehow.
Phil, I wasn't being rude. I was trying to listen to what the video refs were up to. I promise.
How about 20 years of it?
Oh, I never listened to you. This is Manu. 20 metres away from the line, the Saints. It's a little bit of pressure coming in from the men from Lancashire. Boy,
zapped him.
Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook will have felt that. And he's looking at the referee and saying, what about that? Now, is he saying that that was a shoulder charge?
No, it was a fair tackle.
Well, he hasn't got his arm tucked in, he just hasn't got his arm around him, and there is a difference there.
That ball was knocked back by Wigan, says Phil Bentham.
Lucky to get away with that. It was a teasing kick, wasn't it?
It was another good kick. It's a contest. It was up there. It had to be done.
The flailing arm.
Silly play. Well, I'm not so sure you should smile, young fella, because Luke Thompson will not get a pat on the back by his coach, Nathan Brown.
He's very good, isn't he, Dan Sargent, at changing direction just before the defenders get to him, and then you tend to throw out the arm, don't you, in the hope that you can stop him. And if you don't quite make contact in the right place, it's a penalty, and Wigan are out of the danger zone.
And look where they got to as well. It was a good kick into touch, puts them very close to the halfway line.
Listen, it's that sort of night. You might have heard a little bit of language then from one of the players. We apologise if you did.
Yeah, it's pretty tense out there, and it's become pretty rugged as well. That's good play.
To Charnley, and he escapes the net once, but he can't get away from the next two.
How on earth did he keep away from the sideline there? That was a good step off the right boot.
Smith. Here's Bowen joining the line. Comes wide to find Sargentson. Ducks under the challenge from Wilkin. Tries to get away from Manu and does. Hughes away from one, away from two. Then they get him eventually. This is the last tackle coming up for the Wigan Warriors.
Got to be into the corner, surely.
Williams to O'Loughlin. Great kick, great kick. Oh, now then.
Just went over the dead. He'll go upstairs for this one. Confusing. Welland says that he'd left it.
Touch judge has given him the call. He just wants to check it is.
He's gone for the 20-metre restart, and that's what it'd be. His arm's actually out of play when he touches it.
Yeah, but the foot's over the line, so
that's all right. That's a 20-metre restart. Phil Bentham was right on the first call.
That was brilliant play there by Paul Welland. You talk about experience. He's got plenty of that.
Yes, in the heat of the battle, to be as cool and as calm as that.
He always has been, Eddie, hasn't he?
He has. 2000 and something or other, a man of steel, Paul Welland.
This has
2006, I think he was, when he won the top accolade in the game.
And well deserved as well. He's been a great servant to our game.
I was thinking about this yesterday, and maybe it's a discussion for boots and all. I wonder where the man of steel might come from this year.
Oh, there's plenty of candidates.
Talk about it on boots and all maybe one of these days. Would that go backwards?
Yes.
O'Hire might have just almost given himself up then.
He was 50-50, I'll put it that way, and then said, let me kick it into the corner, I'll do the right thing.
You know, there's a difference here. We're just seeing the action again take place. The ball probably goes back. Wigan with a team here then who ran to set the scrum. They want to stop the clock if possible. The referee's just about done it. Because they know they've got 50 seconds, 51 actually, 5 plays to get to the other end of the field. But they are very good at scoring long-range tries. They do like to strike from within their own half, pass the ball wide and use the pace out wide.
If that's the case, then Phil, will they kick from the scrum base and utilise the fast wingers?
No, they'll pass it if they can. They'll pass the ball. They pass it more than most teams, almost more than every team. They've kept it alive here again, and they've got pace that they want to use.
Sargentson, grounded by Roby. Bit of a wrestle on the ground with Sargentson. Here's Burgess. Roby's after him again. Looking down a blind alley, and McCarthy Scarsbrook was waiting for him with Alex Walmsley. Williams. Smith. There's the kick for Charnley to chase. Now, Adam Swift had about 5-10 metres on him, and Adam Swift to the rescue for St Helens.
Well, he kicked on the second. I know that Josh Charnley's got plenty of speed, but so has Swift. He anticipated it.
So is this fellow, Makinson. Approaching half-time, 4 seconds to the half-time siren. Roby, O'Hire, Turner, and that will be the last tackle of the rip-roaring first half that has ended all square at 4 points apiece. I'm sure the big crowd here tonight will enjoy this. Burgess's try in the 8th minute, giving Wigan a 4-0 lead, responded by Makinson's try after 21. 4-4 it is. Great skills, speed of thought and everything else. And it's level at half-time. A high summer of rugby league for you live on Sky Sports, and this first utility Super League clash between the reigning champions Wigan and the current leaders St Helens must be warming the cockles of your hearts on a little bit of a chilly June night. It's not quite high summer yet. I know we've had the longest day. We've just had the longest 40 minutes, I'm sure, for these two coaches. They were desperate to get at their players. They were both down on the touchline as they came off the field. There was some discussion with the match commissioner, Keith Leyland, and John Wilkin was having a discussion with the match official, Phil Bentham. It was all, I think, fairly good-natured. And Nathan Brown knows that he's got a chance here, a real chance of coming away with a victory. And he's quite animated, isn't he? Quite animated with his players, as was Sean Wayne, as you just saw a few moments ago. Right, let's have the analysis. The teeth have dropped. Brian.
Well, listen, you've had your hands full in that first half, Eddie. A brilliant first half. Now, one of the stars that isn't on show is Blake Green. He's currently out injured for the Wigan Warriors, and he's going back to sign with the Melbourne Storm at the end of the year. They're not going to replace him with an external player. They're happy that they've got the man in Sam Powell. And John, early on we saw how good he is. His kicking game, forced a restart and then set up a try. Talk us through that, please.
I agree with that point entirely. I think he's a man who's playing at a very high level now. He's got great potential for future development. Let's have a look at this try. It's superbly taken, because the key thing is St Helens don't do an awful lot wrong here in defence. The key man we're going to be looking at as this play moves on is Sam Powell, just sat there minding his own business at the moment, but he comes into this play, and I'm going to try and stop it at the right point here, because at the point of the catch of the ball here, you've got to look at what he's looking at. His head is already up, and he's looking at this man, at Makinson, and Makinson's up and in. Now he's not done an awful lot wrong there.
And the fullback's well positioned.
And the fullback's well positioned. But there is, if he can get a superbly accurate kick away in such a short window of time, then he knows he's got something. And that's exactly what he manages to do. A snap kick, takes 2 steps, well kept onside by Joe Burgess, and they deserve that. That is a very well executed play, particularly given that St Helens didn't do an awful lot wrong in defence. Start for Wigan.
And if we see more tries in this game, they may come from kicks, because defences have been so good in this game. It's what we've been dying to see in a Super League game this season. We are seeing it now. Wigan, St Helens, both matching each other defensively, John.
How much easier is our job to look at when we've got the quality on show that we've got now? We said about St Helens and their fast start. Have a look at this Wigan defence. Pick this bit out just to show you how that extra effort can affect the end of a set. Now, initial contact is made there between 2 players, and it's Ben Flower who comes in the 3rd man, but look what it does to this tackle, the speed of the subsequent play of the ball, and then what Walsh is able to do with the kick. Gets in, drives back 2 metres, dominates the tackle. Have a look at the Wigan defence. They're set. Crosby leads a line charge to put pressure on the kick. All of a sudden, that is a 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10 kick, as opposed to a 9 or 10 out of 10 kick. And have a look where Josh Charnley starts on. Is set on the 30. And it's little efforts like that, little 1% efforts, which coaches always talk about, those little incremental extra bits of effort and speed of thought that make the difference.
Luke Walsh injuring himself and getting that kick away, but he still played a part in the build-up to St Helens try. While defences have been great, we've seen some great skill. We saw Walsh involved in it. We won't see him again in this game, but gee, he was influential in Makinson's try.
And he'll be a massive loss, because I think the pass that Luke Walsh threw for this try was brilliant. He cut out 3 Wigan defenders in one pass. So the passing question is coming now, and I'll stop in the air, because he basically cuts out 3 defenders all in one line, and he gives Flanagan the best opportunity to get that ball away. And doesn't he do well? That's a beautiful pass.
But his footwork as well.
It's fantastic. And I've put something on the back of this, because this was crucial for me. Paul Wellens, who has had an outstanding first 40 minutes, comes up with a certain try saver, because that had been missed by Lance O'Hire. Burgess was about to regain his feet, and I thought Wellens there, as he's been doing for so many years, came to the rescue, and that was within 60 seconds of the try being scored, which is how we end up where we are at half-time.
They're locked up at half-time. Eddie, you called it unmissable during the week. You're absolutely right. It's brilliant first 40 minutes. Can't wait for the second half.
Yes, can they maintain the standard that we have seen? I think they probably can. They're both out of the Challenge Cup. All their attention now is focused on getting to Old Trafford. And St Helens, of course, have had a few barren seasons in terms of lifting silverware. The double winners are in the other dressing room. Saints want to go home with the 2 points here tonight. It's been fast, it's been furious, it's been unrelenting. It is unmissable. Come on, this is the First Utility Super League, and it's all square. Wigan Saints. Welcome back to another Wigan Saints classic. Phil, what have the stats got to tell us about that scoreline?
Well, having the ball in this game and having it in the opponent's half certainly can help your chance of winning. Wigan about 71 play the balls, and a total of 16 inside the opposition 20. Let's learn it over. Now, do you know what? After 20 minutes, the possession had all been with Wigan, but by the time we got to 40, St Helens had slightly more. Very, very similar possession spread and very similar territory. Now, the performance gauge, this generally summarises the possession, the stats can see again, very little difference between the breaks the meters made, but a big difference in terms of tackle success. St Helens have missed almost 3 times as many as Wigan, and that's why you'd expect Wigan to be marginally ahead. Therefore, I would imagine the focus was on an improved defensive effort from Nathan's Brown side in the second 40.
Yes, half-time over, and a very pleasant half-time up here on the commentary gantry as well. We've all been enjoying some beautiful birthday cake, and it's a very happy birthday to the best rugby league researcher in the world, Ian Proctor. Special birthday for him today. I won't embarrass you by telling you what his age is, but happy birthday, Ian, from all of us here on Sky Sports.
Well, I'd like to. No, I won't.
No, stick to the game, Steve-o. Stick to the game.
Yeah, and what a game we've witnessed as well. What a wonderful first stanza, and there's more to come. It got very, very spiteful, didn't it, after around about 30 minutes into that first half. And I think it might just continue on in that same vein.
Manu has seen a little hole in the Wigan defence, but it was quickly filled by Taylor and by O'Loughlin. It was a bit of a twist then for O'Loughlin. He got up a bit gingerly from that tackle.
Well, you can see already that James Roby, first opportunity, he's gone for a run from dummy half. That's a good kick. That's all about putting yourself in a position.
Yeah, he's buying a bit of territory, isn't he?
And he knew exactly what was needed, but I'm sure that Nathan Brown, the Saints coach, would have said to James Roby, listen, we need a little bit more impact in and around the play of the ball area. To the credit of Wigan's first and second markers, they've worked overtime, but we need to see more from James Roby.
Well, let's see what was said in the dressing rooms half-time. Rod.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie. As you said, St Helens all about reorganising with the absence of Luke Walsh. They've had to do that in the first half for 20 minutes without any chance to chat about it, and the 3 pivot players, Ahaya, Wilkin and Roby, are going to be absolutely key. And you saw Wilkin using the kicking game to good effect at the back end of that first set that Saints had in the second half. Both coaches fully aware this has had a playoff feel to it, this game, very attritional, high-octane stuff, and they expect that to continue. And in that vein, Eddie, it's one of those occasions where the kicking game is going to be key. No penalties is the call, and discipline will be the call. It could well go down to the last few minutes. Even a draw is a possibility, isn't it, at this stage?
2 minutes gone, second half. Wigan attacking from left to right with Matty Smith and now Bowen. That's just a touch forward from Gelling.
Was it?
I'd say a little bit more than a touch. Either way, he was put under pressure. That was good work by Percival. And it just shows you that you get into their faces and the error count rises. Wonderful stuff by Percival.
You think that was flat, Phil, that one?
I think it was a forward pass.
Neat little rat's tail on the back of Gelling's head. Been a long time since I've seen one of those. In fact, it's been a long time since I had one.
I won't tell you what the comments I've just been receiving in my ears. This now is Walmsley.
It now becomes interesting as Saints go in towards the attacking end. As we said, they're leaning left, and Wilkins is really steering that. But I can see how Ahaya has put himself out on the right-hand side, really barking for the ball. He knows they want to attack right, and that sort of indicates that that's what Nathan Brown was talking about at half-time. Get some more balance in our attack, have Ahaya out on the right so we can attack that perceived weaker side of Wigan's defence.
Roby is there at dummy half, and he fires the pass to Wilkin. Pops it up then to McCarthy-Scarsbrook. Had to go in the gap between Taylor.
But this is important now. St Helens need little grubber into the in-goal area. They've got to try to get second set of 6. Now they've gone for the aerial.
Yes, he's gone high. The ball has come back. It's knocked back. It's play on. There's a chance here for Helens. Helens will score. And the referee's first call was it's knocked back. And he has given the try. St Helens hit the front, courtesy of Mr. St Helens, Paul Wellens. 15th try against Wigan. And 4 tries against them in the 2007 Magic Weekend in Cardiff, remember.
Well, I thought they'd perhaps go for the little dribble to try to get the second set of 6. They didn't have to. It was knocked back. very, very well indeed. And Wellens is a man that's there. It was good work by Jordan Turner. Watch Turner leap here, flick it back. Excellent stuff. Makinson thought it was going to be a gift. Flicked it away. Wellens said, I'm in for another 4-pointer. How many times has he done that when St Helens needed?
So has that got to be the perfect rugby league kick on the last tackle? Infield, not really where the winger's expecting it. High, that's almost impossible to catch.
Couldn't agree more. Wonderful kick. It's a wonderful half-time for St Helens. They've been able now to talk to Wilkin, tell him to get some balance, and he's got the confidence then to put what is a wonderful kick. Absolutely perfect kick. It's a contest, you know, and you get that position, you can be critical of defence, you can be really supportive of the attack. It's both. Both in that occasion, he's put up a wonderful, wonderful kick there.
So this is a kick for Percival. Makinson took the first and missed. Percival's took the second and has missed. Oh, he looks over his shoulder. He thought that was there.
Yeah, so did I, but it's deceiving the camera angle. He shakes his head in disbelief.
There's a great roar from the St Helens supporters behind those posts as well.
And this is that wonderful challenge. Great contest up. Straight up there, beautiful work from Jordan Turner, and wonderful composure. Wonderful composure, and of course that man's always got composure to be there. Wellens took the moment. Let's have a look at this one, Eddie.
Well, it looks bang on, doesn't it? Look bang on the money.
I reckon
Can't tell from that.
Oh, I reckon that's over.
The camera's at a different angle, Steve-o. It's like forward passes.
Yeah, I know that.
It's like obstruction.
Maybe they should put a net between the posts.
Oh, don't you start with Rod Studd.
I will say the Tuskers were in a perfect position, in line with the post, in line with the ball, so they were in the best position to judge that one.
Only raised the topic because the crowd went up behind the posts, and Percival himself looked over his shoulder and couldn't believe it had been wiped away. But as you can see, that's where they were. They were in the best position of anybody in this ground. They get right under the posts, they look above the posts, and they make the decision.
It's been a wonderful start to both halves by St Helens as they kick down there for great field position. They had a great defensive set to open the half, and they forced Anthony Gelling into a really bad forward pass, which got them some field position. They went down there and finished it off with the great kick from Wilkins, which they're going to try. Look at them coming off the line now, really dominant. They started the first half with great energy. They're starting this half with great energy as well.
Great tackle. Wonderful athleticism, isn't it, from Walmsley to get up and close down an opponent.
Oh boy, that's heavy stuff.
Yes, a good start this by St Helens to the second half.
But Eddie, they mightn't be going through experiences with the loss. We spoke about it earlier. You said they don't want to go away with a loss out of experiences. They want to go with a win. If they can come up with both tonight, this has been a really important night for them. Long way to go against a quality team.
Yes, good kick again from Matty Smith, trapped by Makinson, who will run it back, try and return it with a bit of interest, and does. Makes about 12-13 metres.
Such a great advantage, isn't it, when you know that your wingers can make 10-15 metres downfield, but defence has virtually been on top. Not surprising with a scoreline of only 8-4. But I've got to give a lot of credit. It's very rare I do this, Eddie, but I think Phil Bentham's had a fine game. There's been a lot of messing around in the play the ball area. He just said to him, get on with it, get up and play the ball, and that's made for a great game tonight.
Wilkin to Ohio, who drifts the kick into open space in the corner.
It's a brilliant kick.
Bowen run towards the corner post, which he does, and look at the chase that's arrived in blue.
No point in utilising 4-5 forwards to take you down there, get the kick away, get the chase, and apply the pressure.
Brave run by Sargentson, halted though. And here comes Burgess again now, taking on Luke Thompson. Williams. Jordan James is lending weight to the wheel. Bowen will kick deep.
Not a bad one either.
Excellent kick, another great kick. How's the chase this time from Wigan? Well, it's there.
Yeah, they got the numbers.
Makinson finds Wellens. Wellens tries to spin away out of trouble. Bateman got to him.
Haven't both these fullbacks been outrageously good tonight? Wellens on the back of a pass there, brave, pushing forward off a Matty Bowen kick.
Swift has lost that. Taylor has it. It's a free play, this. They'll take the tackle, so that's the 0 tackle.
Yeah, that's a big mistake from the winger, Adam Swift. Just didn't keep control of it. They've got over the worst, okay, they've conceded the try of Wigan, but they know that they can sit down there now and apply that pressure. Really has been one end to the other, hasn't it?
It has. Bowen with a little stuttering run, but he's nearly got through them.
Release. Close. Hold.
Very good work by Percival and by Manu. O'Loughlin. Powell. Oh, he puts it down, Jack Hughes.
Yeah, knock on.
It was a bit of a bullet pass to him. He was only about 3 or 4 metres away from him.
Well, when you take the risk of the short pass like this, it's always a chance that you won't be able to pull it in. And he just had a little bit of a look rather than keeping his eye on the football. And that's all about the pressure.
Well, mistakes both ways.
Not surprisingly, they are not eager to form this scrum. Now he's stopped the clock. This has been a torrid affair. We expect every time these two clash against.
Wigan have lost here against Huddersfield and Castleford in the Cup, and they've also lost at Wakefield, Castleford again, Huddersfield again, and Leeds so far this year. And it would be a big win for St Helens, this, if they can get it. Long way to go yet, of course. Manu, though, gets himself out of trouble. Jordan James lying in the ruck. The referee says get on with it. Roby back on the inside and finds Lance O'Hire. Just get the feeling in the opening 11 minutes of this second half it's been St Helens dictating the play. This is a great kick from Wilkin. Bowen's after it. Swift is there, but Bowen does brilliantly. Brilliant run from the fullback. Whoa, Martin Masoi. 23 stones, bang!
He's allowed to do it. It's all part of the game.
Wasn't tackled.
No, he's pulled away. Good job that Roby got to him in the first place.
Well, he should do that. That's what you're buying for. He's a big man. He's got the strike play from the opposition there, and you've got to get in there. He goes again. He's putting all the aggression in there.
We felt that, did Williams, didn't he?
I think there might have been a stray knee there. Williams is hurt.
Oh, Mosi Masoi is on a mission.
Yeah, but I think there was a use of the knee there. And that's the reason why Williams is feeling a little bit crook.
Oh. Used to have a knee on his chest. Probably felt like a knee, it was that hard. Super stuff. End to end, unrelenting.
Yeah. Enjoyable, isn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant.
And the beauty of it is that there is no place to hide, especially with the big fella on the hunt. Mosi Masoi.
O'Loughlin tried to pay him one back then. Wilkin, Manu.
And again, they're persisting down this left-hand side, Saints attack.
Roby, good run. McCarthy Scarsbrook was with him. Pulled down by 3. Roby again. Off the ankles play. Oh, Lance O'Hire. He stabbed that forward. Bowen was there to pick it up.
I think all the pain and hurt, embarrassment that St Helens suffered when they lost to Wigan at Easter has manifested itself here in a super effort to try and put Wigan under so much pressure that they spill the ball or crack in defence. This is a full-on 100% effort here. They're leaving nothing in the tank.
Yes, they won't go home wondering tonight, will they? Neither side. Sargentson plays the ball.
And that's where
that was Powell.
That's where it's going to be very difficult in the final quarter. Because a lot of the fuel has gone already in a lot of these players.
Great set of 6 defensively by St Helens. The kick from Matty Smith. Wellens brings it back 20 metres. Down he goes under the challenge of Gelling and Jordan James. Roby is waiting at dummy half. This is Makinson. He gets away from Makinson. He gets away from Grant. He can't get away from Matty Smith. Great tackle. Wanted a quick play of the ball. Adam Swift finds Soliola. Oh, Soliola thought about slipping the pass to Wilkin. He would have been forward had he done so. Roby from dummy half. This is O'Hire. And O'Hire gives it some width and finds Makinson.
Another drive to the centre. Then they'll kick to the corner, surely.
Flanagan. This is young Luke Thompson again.
And a good run
tackle coming up.
Good run from Thompson. Put them in the middle. That means that the defence in Wigan has to spread.
Dabbed by Ohio, not done.
And that is a wonderful, wonderful dribble kick. Well, when you thought that Luke Walsh had left the field of play, you'd perhaps think that St Helens might have been in a bit of a quandary, but this guy, Lanto Haya,
shot this really, offside. He was behind Bowen.
Bowen ended up in front. Even though he knocked it on, he managed to get in front before the other player came in. So that's what stopped it being a penalty.
We could talk about the quality kick. This man on screen, Lanto Haya, that was wonderful there. He set it up. He spoke to those guys, the chasers, before the play. That's where the pressure was. All the kicks from St Helens, they're not making late decisions. They're deciding early, and it's just then about executing. They've done a wonderful job of applying an outrageously good kicking game.
Well, you can see there's only one man on that blind side. Will Lanto Haya take that advantage? Roby's backing in at loose forward. Will they dummy and he goes on the blind side? No.
They're all lined up down the middle here, and this is Roby taking them to within 3 meters of the line. Desperate defence needed here by Wigan. It was there from the captain. Thompson again to nobody. Got the shout from the invisible man, Soliola. Percival, they've lost a bit of ground here, Saints. McCarthy Scarsbrook trying to get them back. Here's Roby. Into centre field, and he finds Wilkin. Wilkin short to Mossy Masoi. Mossy Masoi keeps the legs going, grimacing. Down he goes on tackle number 4. A right shin muscle on the ground. He tries to get to his feet. Roby to Wilkin. Wilkin then spreads it. Here's Soliola. Percival knocks it forward. The danger is averted. Great defence from Wigan.
Wonderful defence from Wigan. That was a real threat. They had to work. Saints did a lot of good things there, but they just defended it so well, Wigan, as they have all game.
Well, I'm not so sure that Nathan Brown would have been happy with that. They were in such a wonderful position. Remember, they'd had a second set of 6, applying that pressure, and really when you're leading, okay, it's only by 4 points, but they didn't need to play catch-up football. They need to just turn the tourniquet and make this Wigan side suffer.
Double winners, the Saints, 96 and 06. Wigan achieved that last year, so the pressure really on St Helens to claim silverware in 2014 for the first time since winning the League Leaders' Shield 6 years ago. And I think we can see some signs of that desperation, that desire here tonight.
Well, we know, don't we? It's going to take something a little different here if you want to score, because the defence of both sides means that they're not going to give you a try. It won't be an easy play through. And I think that's the reason why players are tempted to try that offload. But here's a very important penalty here awarded to Wigan. Matthew Smith looking to play it quick here now. Look, he wants to go fast with the tempo, take the challenge back to St Helens.
Well, listen to the home crowd. They're trying to lift their charges. The big problem, though, for Wigan, can they get into a really good position?
There's the young man who's making his debut, Jamie Doran, half-back or hooker. That's his first touch and his first tackle in one of these white-hot frenzies that is called the Wigan Saints derby. And he looks as though he's been anxious to get on the field from the start. Smith finds Ben Flower. Flower right into the chest of Mossy Masoi, makes good progress forward. Nathan Brown looking anxiously on. He knows this is the test of his defence. As O'Loughlin has attacked them, this is Stuart Hughes. Ohio held on to him, lifts the leg and down he goes. This is the last one coming up here for Wigan. Soliola a bit slow to let him up to his feet. Powell gives it to Matty Smith. Here is Bowen. They have made one. Just shot for the Wigan Warriors. And the score is a level again. He's been out for such a long time this season as Josh Charlton. 5 tries on his return against Widnes. And he has scored here a day before his 23rd birthday.
Superbly, Smith started it off, and what a game that fella Matty Bowen's having. Well finished by Charlie, one-handed, but it's the fact that Matty Bowen has linked in yet again, and look at this, draw them through. He's ducting Mark Percival. It was only half a gap, and boy, are they happy? Oh yes, they are. So's this fella.
And never forgetting to give the joining jack signal for the charity, Josh Charnley. Well, all square again. A bit like getting to the 18th hole in a knockout golf match and you have to go up the 19th and start all over. All that effort for nothing.
Yeah, but I've never been in that position at golf, Eddie. That's
no. Neither have I.
No, but this is a thriller. It really is. This is an important pressure kick for Matty Smith. Remember, we have not had a goal in this game so far. Will he break the duck?
It would be an important time to do so, and that's why Wigan have gone very quiet. Saints supporters are up the other end. Trying to draw it over, but no, stay straight. All square again, 8 to Wigan, 8 to St Helens, but don't let anyone tell you in the morning this has been a dour battle.
This was a real team try. Josh Charnley scores it. It's a money ball here from Bowen, but everyone was in position. The whole team was working well, filling spaces, challenging the St Helens defence. It was all too much to deal with. And Steve, I mentioned it in the lead up to there off the tap. The crowd come into play. They got a penalty, they kicked down deep, and they started ripping in, and Wigan really responded as a team. And this man capitalised on the great work of everybody in the Wigan team.
I took a year off him. He was 23 yesterday. So a belated birthday present. Josh Charnley, 8 all. All to play for in the last 20 minutes. Good run, great run from the number 16, Gil Dodson. Another good run from the number 10, Ben Flower. The big men now putting their shoulders to the wheel. Here he is again.
Yeah, they've got the rhythm, they've got the style, and they've got the shape back. This crowd is really lifting them up. That is 3 wonderful runs down the centre of the field. This may be where the link comes.
Well, Lachlan will take it towards Mark Flanagan, and with O'Hire he's brought down. The young man gets it away to Powell. Here is Matty Smith. Oh, that's a slice. Gelling has dropped that, and Percival has dropped on the ball. Gained a few vital metres as well.
Yeah, he's had a big game, this young centre, Mark Percival.
Swift with the strength to bounce one off.
To be fair, there hasn't been a bad player on the field. Both in attack and defence, they have put real effort into it.
Doesn't have the fluency, does it, that of what St Helens would want to do, though. And they're passing that ball and drawing men without Luke Walsh. The timing is all wrong. Difficulty in how any individual player can come up with a magic effort, because I don't see them executing the team try that we just saw Wigan do without Luke Walsh out there.
I agree. There's a lot of hands waving, a lot of blokes pointing in any direction. The key player is Wellens at the moment. He's been around mustering people. He's going to look for it. Bet you at some point soon he's going to get a little support play off, a little offload, and it'll be very influential. Another good kick.
Great kick from Wellens, from Wilkin rather, and a great run from Sia Soliola.
Brilliant. He will be happy with that, Nathan Brown, and so will this loose forward, Sia Soliola. Talk about putting the pressure on both sides.
This kick here from Wilkins, it just backs up what Phil's been saying all game. He said the set was going nowhere, they were struggling, they were pointing around trying to find something. Then Wilkins steps up and does that. The biggest influence in the game, drops it in goal. This now becomes a huge set at 8 all.
It's amazing, isn't it? You know, sometimes Wilkin can sometimes get lost during the game, but because he's had the responsibility of standing in virtually at the standoff position, he's getting more of the ball and he's becoming more and more influential.
You're very right, Stevie. Nathan Brown's had a wonderful half-time. He has really settled it
That was
down.
high from Flower, sorry, on Richards. Now they'll surely go for 2, won't they? They'll surely go for 2 in this situation, as tight as it is.
Well, Wellens has run right up to the players and said, hang on, don't get excited. That was a silly swinging arm there from Ben Flower.
Well, there's no Walsh, but they're going to go for the 2 points anyway. Walsh off the field. Percival is moving towards the ball. He's going to take responsibility for this. And I wonder what Paul Wellens had to say. There he is. That arm is raised.
Hang on,
Comes
fellas.
across. Hang on. We'll take two. Give me that ball. We're going to have two.
Yeah, that's the experience, isn't it?
Annoyed he is with himself, Ben Flower. I think in 8-all, you can't do anything other than take two, can you?
Yeah, I agree. It was the right call. The experienced man knew that. It could be a rush of blood. And the modern tendency is to be brave and put your chest out and say, we'll take your on. But this game's not leaning towards that. Conditions are wet. Defences are dominating.
If he kicks this, the challenge for the St Helens players is to do what Dudson and Flower did when they received the kickoff, wasn't it, after they just scored some points, and get themselves rolling forward. Some big charges from people like Masoi.
This is a big kick. And that one is successful. Doesn't need to look over his shoulder and raise an eyebrow at that. Saints get the lead back. 10-8. I wonder what thoughts go through the minds of the coaches in situations like this. It's tense. Tony, what do you think when your team goes 10-8 up?
You know, St Helens, they're not back quick enough here. That it's disappointing, that really, the pace with which they got back into position.
The answer to the question this time, Steve, Eddie, is to make sure you do get field position. But it's also important if you do a field goal or get that penalty, you don't just draw a line in the sand and hope the scoreboard gets the job done for you. Hope the clock starts ticking over a bit quicker. It's about concentrating on doing your jobs, doing them better than ever, and just focusing on those things. While the rest of us sit up here looking at clocks and scoreboard and hope they get the job done, you want your players sticking to their plans, sticking to their rhythms, getting their kicks away, running harder and tackling harder than the opposition.
Soliola to his feet. Roby, who's had a big influence. Masoi takes it forward. The leg, it comes up. And because of that, the penalty is given.
Just a lack of concentration. You can see he's lifting up, and if the official will see it, he's not impressed, Sean Wayne. And these are vital 30-40 metres downfield. Yeah, I must agree also that, remember, we made the point that there wasn't much running from dummy half from James Roby in that first stanza. Boy, he's changed it around in this second.
The influence there has been Willie Manu. James Roby and a lot of the good hookers look for players they can run off, who play the ball quick, who get their nose through. And Manu's the player who's been running a lot of the ball off.
Wilkin to Soliola. Solid run from Soliola, straight into the chest of Jamie Doran. Roby and Mossy Masoi. Can he get the hands free? Yes, he can to Roby. He then gets it wide to Flanagan. This is Turner. Turner takes them on, gives it then to Makinson. Makinson! What a try! What a try from Makinson! He beat 2 or 3 down that right-hand side. And suddenly the game goes very much in St Helens' favour.
And it just shows you, give away the penalty, the opposition gets the adrenaline pumping through. Let us kick it into the corner, get into that position. But this is world class. This is the incident. They were messing around, and there goes the leg. No alternative from Phil Bentham, had to give it. But this is sheer quality. The big fella, Mossy Masoi, gets the offload. But what's the finish from this winger? He really should have been battled. Oh!
Yeah, there's 2 things here. This bloke's had a ripper of a game, hasn't he, Big Mossy Masoi? You want your big men to do good things, and he has done that wonderfully well. And you can't flower anything else. This is just a wonderful finish. This guy is outstanding. He's the leading try scorer, and that's why. That took some doing. Most defenders will defend that. That is a very, very special finish in speed and balance, composure, grip on the ball. Wonderful effort.
Well, he had a little barren spell of 4 games. Didn't score at all. Now he's got 3 tries in 2. And 17th try in Super League he is. The first utility Super League's top try scorer after round 18 so far. What a kick this is. 6 points advantage at the moment. This for an 8-point lead. The penalty he kicked not long ago was his first successful kick of the season. Mark Percival, cometh the hour, cometh the man. Hello. He has kicked it. 16-8 to the Saints. Have we just seen a pivotal couple of moments and a pivotal kick from Percival? Nathan thinks so.
So important now that Wigan try to force the error. It was a good kick-off and it was a good chase as well, and they're really into it. Got to keep their composure now as Wigan. Don't be silly, don't go high, don't mess around with the play of the ball. Keep that control and defensive line.
Well, if they hang on, St Helens, indeed if they further increase their lead, they would be 3 points clear of the Leeds Rhinos. Leeds, of course, have a game with the Catalan Dragons to come on Sunday. And I think I'm right in saying the Catalan Dragons have never beaten Leeds at Headingley.
Look at that chase. Yes. Brilliant. He's had a fantastic second half as John Wilkin. You talk about taking responsibility, stepping up to the plate. His kicking game down this left-hand side has completely bamboozled the Wigan outfit.
And I think, Phil, you made a very good point before. The memory, the hurt of Good Friday has powered St Helens tonight.
I do think it was a painful experience from the chairman right down to the players and all the way through the supporters, and I just felt that we coming to this ground as that familiar long-distance strike for Wigan. They do seem to have enough defenders covering it. Do you know what, there is still a long time left, though, and whilst you see Wigan moving it like that,
yes, there's 12 minutes.
Test,
12 minutes. Test. It is 12 minutes, 8 points. 8 points.
Well, if there's one guy in the Wigan outfit tonight, it's a fullback, Matty Bowen, that could perhaps
Bateman was looking for a penalty there. It goes high off the boot of Smith. Big call from the dependable Helens.
Rock of Gibraltar. Unbelievable there. He looks so casual. I wonder what the heartbeat is like, but maybe down to about 55, where the rest of the side have gone into about 120. It just looks so casual, but it's so effective.
Over 20,000 people inside the ground tonight, thrilling to this, and I'm sure all of you watching at home enjoying every single moment of it as well, particularly the St Helens fans. Maybe not if you're a Wigan supporter at this moment in time, but there's still plenty of time left, and there's the biggest Wigan supporter I know, Sean Wayne. He's desperate to beat St Helens at anything. That's a good kick again. He's just got hold of this game by the scruff of the neck in the second half.
Yeah, remember last night when neither side, really until it was late on when the Giants took control against the Rovers, we were just saying that neither side wanted to control it. Boy, have we seen an exhibition of experience of a man saying, we'll turn this Wigan outside, inside out, turn them back. They're running out of steam, Wigan, I'm afraid. They've got to try something very, very different.
Good teams learn by losing. I know it's been mentioned earlier. When Wigan played at Easter and won, here's another penalty that Wigan are going to receive here. 4 of the 5 tries that Wigan scored were when St Helens kicked the ball downfield and the wingers and Bowen started to charge it back. They went the length of the field. That's the reason why, whenever possible, they've found the sideline today, haven't they? We'd much rather have a scrum to start the set, but not one with a penalty in it, just like we've seen.
You know, if they hang on for this St Helens, it would be a remarkable victory, considering they've gone for, well, I'm trying to work out when Luke Walsh left the field. Certainly over an hour. Well over an hour they've had to battle without him. Oh, and Bateman appeals for a penalty for stealing the ball, and he gets the referee's whistle.
Well, you've just mentioned Bateman, John Bateman coming back.
I think he's just lost that ball.
Yeah.
Roby's coming out of the tackle, he hasn't stolen it, Bateman's lost it.
Yes, it was a very, very loose carry. Now then, here's a big test of this St Helens defence as we enter the last 10 minutes. Dudson. That was the young man Doran, gave it to Smith. Good ball, here's Hughes, he gets the ball back. Ooh, wow. Wellens, his knees were everywhere then.
Bowen put his body on line.
Didn't he just? Dodson.
This is real desperation now. Bowen is screaming for it. He's on that second phase. They're going left. And they've gone that way.
They have. With O'Loughlin, he booms the pass over the top.
That's
Sarginson.
forward.
It's not been called. It's not been called. This is Burgess.
Boy, why on earth? That looked so forward. They got away with it.
Well, just as Joe Cobb was calling that forward, I don't think Phil Benton heard it.
Wow, Sam Powell. Here comes the last tackle for the Wigan Warriors. Doran again, they're going left. Bowen slides the kick in. It was hit by a foot. Oh, they're going to get 6 to go. 6 to go for Wigan. O'Loughlin first to react. Here's Bowen again. Oh, Bowen! He threw it forward.
It was knocked out, I think. Well, he got the chance. It was good work by Sean O'Loughlin to steal it. Well, they just threw it forward. Maybe someone grabbed the ball carrying arm as he was trying to flick it.
A hand in there.
Yeah, but not on the ball. I think it was on. Look at this. That was a mile forward, not seen.
Well, it was seen by the touch judge, not heard by Phil Benton. Who can blame him? It's bedlam inside this ground.
Oh, it's play on. No, it's head and feet to Wigan.
On impact, says Phil Benton. A grimace and a smile from Wilkin. Will he be smiling at the end of this next set?
Good work there by Charnley. He went for the ball carrying arm, and Wilkin went away from dummy half. That's the one problem you have when you're in dummy half position. You carry that ball with both hands, not just one, both hands.
Initial knockout, would that have been head and feet to Saints, really, Stuart?
Well, I think he's hit the arm, I think, and that's where Phil Benton's played on from it. I think he's ruled that he's hit the arm, so there's no knock on initially.
OK, this is a big test. This is a huge test for St Helens. Here's Taylor. Manu flew out of the line. They get him down eventually.
It worked overtime as Manu. They've had to. They're under the cosh.
Doran, Powell, Smith, Bowen, Gelling. Offside, back in the middle of the field.
It's a late hit. It's another late hit. In the centre. Phil Benton picked it up. He waited for advantage, and it was a late hit again.
That one.
Billy Manu, I think.
Bateman having a run.
We haven't seen much of John Bateman. I wondered whether he started this game fully fit.
This is Taylor. I suppose when you think about it and the injury problems Wigan have had this year, there must be question marks about a few of the players out there. Powell, Bateman again. He received that standing still, to be fair to him.
I think he thought he was going to be the dummy runner.
Williams is here. Gets the ball away to O'Loughlin. Back it comes to Powell. A drift through by Powell and a hack away by Jordan Turner.
Yeah, this is not the time to hold a board meeting. When the ball comes through, see you later, boys. When you're leading by those vital 8 points, you don't mess around, and the pressure is showing on the face of Sean Wayne. The neat little kick through. Got a right smile on his face, hasn't he, Jordan Turner? And that finished up about 34 seats up in that stand.
Well, this has to be a decent length on this goal line dropout, and then Saints will have to dig deep on their reserves of energy and chase for all they're worth. Nakinson gets the boot to it. Smith traps it like Wayne Rooney. There's the first tackle. Vital set of 6 coming here for Wigan. Bateman. Wilkin like a limpet mine. 6 minutes to go. 8 points the difference. Williams.
That's good refereeing.
Smith and Powell, and it goes wide to Sarginson. St Helens get him down, but it was a good, strong, solid run from Dan Sarginson. There's Burgess going to pitch one, is he? Or is it a double movement?
Well, it's a hand on him. He certainly hit the deck first in the playing area.
This is a big call for Ben Thaler. And it is a double movement they're looking at. If he gets it, he's going to be given his second try.
Well, I don't think anybody's hold of him looking at that speed, and it's usually better to look at a double movement decision at normal speed rather than slow motion. So the first thing is he ever tackled? I don't think anybody's hold of him there. That's a fair try. He's entitled to go and score that try. He's through. Nobody's hold of him.
Well, I don't know.
I think he's gone through that.
Well, Turner looks to me as though he's got a left hand on him. He doesn't have to be a force down, he just has to touch him, surely.
Well, if the ball carrying out's on the ground, he only has to touch him.
And there he is. He's made contact with his chin. This has got to be a double movement.
Well, it's not contact, Steve-O. He says if a player's on the ground, if he's tackled, if he's placed an arm on a hand on him. So does he do that?
Yes.
On his chest.
Yes,
Right.
look, he's on his thigh. Surely this is not going to be given.
And for that reason, he's got his hand on him.
No try.
Double movement is the decision. This is Phil Bentham's view of it. No wonder he handed it upstairs. And Sean Wayne turns away. Nathan Brown applauds the decision.
Well, I think they've got that right. I really do.
I do. I think there was contact with the man with the ball. It's a double movement.
I thought it was a clear double movement. I thought he made two movements, and there was enough defenders around him to say that was no try.
Stu, you're in a minority of one.
Well, it's not a minority. Looking at the slow motion, he does just get his hand to it. I was more concerned that it was the chest that was touching him, which wouldn't have counted. His hand just gets there, which gives him the out.
So they got it right.
Decision is right.
Boy, I'm glad you retired, Stuart. I really am.
So am I, the pace of this.
As I say, he's had a fine game as Phil Bentham. He hasn't panicked. It's been rough, it's been tough, and he's allowed, and he's realised that both these sides, they're out on their feet, which is not surprising, the pace of this game and the hits that we've witnessed.
I think certain Wiganers have decided time's up. They've had enough.
Well, they've just been able to attack off a dropout, then a penalty, and couldn't get through. Real credit to St Helens defence and their composure now to get a kick away and gain field position again. They're making life really hard for Wigan.
Bowen makes it so far, but only as far as Mr. Perpetual Motion, John Wilkin.
I must say, the second half, he has been outstanding, John Wilkin. He has controlled this game.
O'Loughlin. Smith, short ball, Hughes. 4 minutes to go. 8 points the difference. Wouldn't it have been a finish had that been given, actually, had that been given the green light?
Yeah. I don't think my nerves would have withstood it.
But he's still got a chance, because here comes Bateman. He gets it away.
Good work by Percival there. Even though Bateman got the offload.
Gelling was the man tackled. Above his head, it's plucked out of the air by Williams. They go wide here with Sargentson. He dabs it to the in-goal area. Oh, and now did Makinson ground that in goal?
Is it Wellens?
It's Wellens.
Sorry, is it Wellens? I beg your pardon.
Yeah, it is. Neat little dribble through. Goes backwards.
That's grounded in goal, isn't it, Stuart?
Yeah, it's a dropout.
It ends up there, but the new ruling this year is that he has to deliberately ground the ball. Now, does he intentionally ground the ball there, or is he trying to get out? In which case, he's in the field of play, and as we saw last night, he's been pushed back in. Now, I don't think he's intentionally grounded that ball because he's made the effort to get out. So perhaps that's been ruled incorrectly. Last year, it would have been absolutely right, goal line dropout.
I must
He
say,
intentionally grounded the ball.
when he listens back and watches the DVD, Paul Wellens will be delighted at 34. I've mistaken him for Tom Makinson at 22.
Yes. Even old fellas have hairstyles, Eddie.
Some do.
Boy, that was a crunching tackle as well.
3 minutes. Clock's against Wigan as much as the scoreboard. Hang on. Scampering run by Williams. Smith scheming, looks left, looks right, goes left and up the middle, finds his skipper, short ball, Taylor still, Little drop of the shoulder. Bowen backs his way towards the line.
It's not over yet.
It isn't. Another try, or a try here, and well, buckle up for a big 2 minutes. O'Loughlin, second try for Charnley. Now then, a little bit like last night. Do they kick or do they turn it down?
Wonderful. They never gave in, did they? Charnley put himself in a great position. They got caught out there. Percival is in two minds. But this fella just goes in, try number 2. It's nerves aplenty.
Well, they had about 2.5 minutes when that try went down, so I think you'd probably take the risk here of taking the time to take this kick. Very difficult effort, isn't it? He's having to rush it.
And he hasn't kicked one yet, as you can see. But if he kicks this, look out. No, he's missed it. But 12-16. They still had to score another try anyway. The clock is vital.
Yeah, and this was a never say die effort. Unbelievable. Charnley straight in with it. Well, the crowd are booing because they think St Helens are just taking their time. But you can see Phil Bentham has already called time off.
As soon as the touch judge got into position, he called time off, and he watched him. The fact that Saints are just trudging forward, which they are, doesn't make any difference whatsoever. They'll still get a full set of 6 here, Wigan.
And
now
this is an important kick. Don't kick it too far. Don't kick it directly in the touch.
Right. Percival.
And you can see Eddie Percival deliberately held back on that. Didn't want to take any chance whatsoever.
Powell gets it away. Here is Jack Hughes. Saints now have to defend for all they're worth. And Wigan really have to throw caution to the wind if they want to win this pulsating match. It's going right down to the last minute, and here they come with Bowen who finds Gary. Gary gets it to Charnley. And Charnley is still there, and down it goes eventually.
There's only seconds remaining. Penalty. Has he done that on purpose? Will this be a red card? No.
Gelling takes a quick tap. And they've got 20 seconds remaining. Are they going to nick it at the death, Wigan? Smith, infield it comes to Taylor. There's Powell. Here is O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin will take them on and will go down. 10 seconds remaining. 10 seconds remaining. St Helens slowing the rock down. Penalty. They have to carry on, even though
they've got to go for the kick.
Even though the siren sounded, they carry on till it finishes.
Kick it!
Here we go. Bowen. Charnley wanted it. Great defence by Percival. Furious, Sean Wayne. Delighted St Helens. What a game. It had playoffs. It had grand final. It had finals written all over it, this. And St Helens have banished the memory of a horrible Good Friday with a gutsy win here at Wigan. Brilliant game.
Superb, but you could see the exasperation written all over the Wigan coach, Sean Wayne. They needed the kick, and I'm surprised that they went for the power play. If ever did, they knew the Hooten had gone. Get the ball, have the 50-50 chance, kick into the corner, and they refused to use it.
Well, the man of the match, and it is a man of the match performance we've seen tonight from John Wilkin. He's with Rod.
John, really well done. Talk about frantic at the end. Have you got your breath back? That was incredible at the end there.
Yeah, unfortunately enough, I was out on the edge, so I think the middle players on both sides in the field worked tremendously hard today. And, Super League for me is all about intensity. It's about speed and aggression, and games like tonight show that. Obviously Wigan will be disappointed, but we had a point to prove today, and you know what, we've been soft against Wigan in the last couple of years, and we wanted to come here and blow them away. Like, we aggressively blow them away, and we lost Walshy early in that first half, and then to dig in, really, the commitment to each other a template for us going forward. We've got to show that commitment every week. We can't afford to go to Catalan away and lose 42-0. We're a champion team and we need to start showing it.
We know it's not done until it's done, but you appear to be controlling that game in the second half, despite losing Luke Walsh. Yourself, Lance Ohio and James Roby had to really step up without your string puller.
Yeah, I think that's right. And to be fair, last year probably equipped us with the skill set to be able to do it and close a game out. You know, it's not a disaster losing Luke. Obviously, he's a world-class halfback, but you know, between 4 or 5 of us in the team, you know, you've got the flexibility to be able to change the way you play. Paul Wellens at fullback, you know, releases a lot of pressure on our halfbacks, and really, you know, our big men are outstanding. Like, I'm sure the guys in the commentary box, you know, we're onto that. And but just thanks to our fans, you know, we've been a bit up and down this year, and you know, we've been wanting to put a performance in for our fans, and that was for them tonight, and it'll be it's a good night to be a St Helens player and fan.
Sure, well done, John. Thanks for talking to us.
Cheers, bud.
Sean O'Loughlin's here, sporting as ever. Sean, thanks for joining us. Incredible end to that game, and in the end, you're only a couple of inches away from snatching it. We've seen some famous Wigan wins like that against Saints. How close were you, do you think?
It was close in the end, but I think we're very, very evenly matched tonight. Both come and threw everything at each other, and they just come out on top. So credit to them, I think. After the performance, they put in it when we played them at their place. They're probably disappointed with that, and they've come in and got their own back.
Yeah, it was only the goal kick in the end because 3 tries apiece. So just give us a clue about Wigan going forward, because it's been a couple of defeats on the trot, Wakefield and tonight. How will that affect you going forward, Sean?
I don't think it'll affect us too much. There's a long time left in the season. We want to get to that top spot if we can. So just about picking our performance up and trying to pick up some wins.
Thanks for talking to us, Sean. Appreciate your time.
Cheers, thank you.
Yes, they've lost consecutive Super League games for the first time this year. Their run of 7 successive home Super League wins grinds to a halt. For these St Helens players, what a turnaround in fortunes. 2 weeks ago, they must have been in the depths of despair on the plane coming back from the south of France, beaten 42-0 by the Catalan Dragons. Tonight, they've come to the home of the champions, and they've won. And they have won a truly memorable match.